3. This is maths for Thursday, the 21st of January. So today, I can't believe it either, day 4 of our grid method. But so far, from what I've seen on Class Dojo, you guys are doing an absolutely stellar job. So well done, because you've really, really worked hard on this one. So let's see what we've got in store today. Aha! Okay, looking at our 8 times tables today, you will notice that these are sequences counting in 8s. So what I would like you to do is to go through and find the missing numbers. Pause the video here and see if you can find them. Okay, how did you get on? Have a little look through your answers. Did you spot them? We're going to jump straight into our grid method work again today because I want to show you something slightly different to go with our grid method. So if you want to oh, I've jumped. If you want to pause the video here and then tick off the ones that you got correct, and then we'll move on together. Okay, so this week, we have been thinking an awful lot about multiplying a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number, and we have been using a method called grid method. Now, grid method is great because it really helps us to be able to show our understanding, and it helps our number sense. So it's a really great method to use. What I want us to think about now is more on the applying side of that knowledge. So we've looked at a little bit of worded problems, we've obviously done some sort of reasoning, but now what I want us to think about is when we look at a problem that really doesn't have a calculation to go with it and how we can spot what that calculation might be. So you might have seen a bar model like this before. You might already have seen them loads of times in year 3 already and loads of times in year 2. And you can use them for lots of things. You can use them for adding, you can use them for taking away, you can use them for dividing, and very, very much linked to what we're doing, you can use them for multiplication. So just have a little think about what we notice about this bar model. So the first thing I notice is that the same number is in each of the sections on the lower bar. I notice that there are 3 sections. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label. I may go with purple today. I'm going to label how many lots of 64 there are. So there's 1 there, there's another one there, and there's another one there. So there are 3 lots of the same number. So 3 lots of 64. So what calculation does this mean? Really, what this means is I have actually got 64 times 3, or 3 times 64. Either way round is fine. So at the moment then, we know how we would work this out on a grid. What I want us to do, though, is just to link that understanding with some understanding in case it comes up in a different way, so that then we think, oh, I've seen this before. Mrs. Silverthorne reminded me about this, and it's just there to help us when we see multiplication in a different representation. So, for example, I'm just thinking about a number line as well. So if I want to show the 64 times 3, or if I see it in this way and I think, oh, I can do something with that. If, for example, on a number line, I had 3 jumps. Oh, that's less of a jump there. More of a hillock, perhaps. If I had 3 jumps here and each jump was plus 64, it would still mean the same calculation. It would still be 64 times 3. So when, oh, there we go, I've joined up my numbers. I've got to say yes, I'm using my pen on my laptop, so it's not the tidiest. But what I want us to be thinking about here is actually what we're seeing is still the same as 64 times 3. And when we see it in that way, we need to just remind ourselves that we have got the skills to think, well, actually, yeah, I've got 3 lots of the same thing, so I must be multiplying them by 3. So let's have a little look. Let's try and solve it with our grid method. Now, our steps to success, I haven't put them in this video, but if you want to go back and check them, you may, but we're kind of on day 4 now. So I'm hoping that by now you're sort of into the rhythm of using the steps to success. I feel like you guys must probably know them better than I do now. So if I'm doing 64 times 3, I'm looking at my calculation. Once again, I want to partition the 64 into the top 2 boxes. So 10s and 1s, so 60 and 4. And then the 3, the 1-digit number I'm multiplying by, goes underneath. So I'm now going to begin to multiply 3 times 60. I'm going to use the related calculation of 3 times 6 because I use this number here to help me. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18. But because of the related calculation link, I know that the 6 has been multiplied by 10 to make 60. And so the 18 needs to be multiplied by 10 too, and it will give me 180. Okay, and then I'm going to be doing 3 times 4. So if I'm thinking about my 3 times 4, I'm thinking about my TT Rockstars practice I've been doing all the time. I know that I have got there the answer of 12. Now, to work this one out, again, I could use my sandwich method. So I could go down here. I might need to do it a little bit smaller, or I might need to move my number line, but that's okay. So 100 plus 80 plus 0. And then, oh, I will need to move my my number line over. There we go. So you can just sit nicely over there. Oh, that's not worked. Never mind, we'll carry on regardless. Okay, and then I am adding my 12, so plus 12. So I'm going to put the 2 from 12 down here. There we go. I'm going to put the 10 from 12 here. And I know I will need to whip out the Rodney so that then I am able to do this section here. Okay, so when I'm looking at this now, I know that 0 plus 2 will give me 2. I know that 80 plus 10 is going to give me 90. So for this one, I don't need to do an exchange, so I can move straight into the hundreds column for this one. And so 100 plus 0 is going to be 100. And my answer once I've, oh, that's definitely a 1. Once I've partitioned it all together, it's going to be 192. And that is the answer that I would put up here in my bar model. Okay, now when we're looking at these questions, you'll notice the top bar is the one that's empty. Now, usually if we were using it for division, it would be the top bar that would have something in it, and then all of the smaller sections would be empty. But because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of 19, I'm able to think, well, actually, the whole top section is made up of these 4 19s. So I know I must be doing 19 times 4 or 4 times 19 to be able to work out what goes there. So I'm going to write down my calculation. So 4 times 19. Now for this one, if I did 4 jumps along a number line, I'm going to just move this out of the way because of the problem I just had with, there we go, with my sandwich method. I know that I would need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And in each one, I would need to write plus 19 because that's essentially what multiplication is. It's repeated addition. But because repeated addition takes a long time, we multiply instead to make it quicker. It's a more efficient method. It's nice, though, to have this kind of knowledge, though, because this is just a different way of showing that you understand something. So there we go. So this 4 times 19 could be shown like this. There we go. So if you ever see it on a number line like this, you can be thinking, well, if I sit here all day and add up 19, add 19, add 19, add 19, it will take a long time. Or I could think, well, they are all the same number, so it's 4 lots of the same number. So it's a multiplication. Okay, let's have a little look. I'm going to give this a go. This time I'm going to, step 1, partition my 19 into the top 2 boxes. So I have got 10, so 1 10 in 19 and 9 ones. And then the number I'm multiplying by, which is 4, comes underneath. So here I'm going to do 4 times 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40. I imagine lots of you were really, really quick and probably didn't even need to count up there. Okay, and then 4 times 9. Now I've been working on those 4 times tables. I know that 9 times 4 is going to give me 36. Okay, now for this one, you might not need to do a sandwich method. You might find that actually you can add these up, no problem. If you need to do a sandwich method, of course, go for it. A lot of the time, If you do a sandwich method next to or just underneath your grid method, what it kind of does is it really just helps to clear your mind so that you know exactly what you're doing. And it's really clear then where you've got your answer from. So for some, it will be really, really quick. For others, it's actually really helpful to do the method to show, oh, actually, if I made a mistake, where did I make a mistake? What went wrong there? So, and obviously we know that with mistakes, that's where the learning happens. So it's actually not through getting things right that we learn. It's actually a lot of the times we're getting things wrong. Okay, so here we go, R1. So 0 plus 6 is going to give me 6. And then 40 plus 30, oh, there we go. So 4 tens plus 3 tens is going to give me 7 tens. And then 70 plus 6 is going to give me 70. Oh, missed that part. 76. There we go. Right, now for the next one, I'd like you to pause the video here and give this one a go by yourself and see how you get on. Okay, let's try this one out together, shall we? So the calculation I'm doing, how many lots of 42 do I have on my bar model? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8. Okay, so I've got 8 times 42 here. So I'm just going to move this one out of the way again. So if I've got 8 times 42 here, so 8 times 42, that's the calculation I'm working on. So let's give this a go. So in my, let me show you this part first, otherwise I'm going to confuse myself, aren't I? So here I've got 8 lots of 42. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm going to run out of room. 7 and 8. Let's pull you over a little bit. There we go. So in each one, we would be writing add 42. There we go. So for our grid method, then I want to partition the 42 into 40 and 2. So it's tens and ones. There we go. And then the 8 comes down here. Okay, so now I'm going to do 8 times 40. I know in my mind I need to do 8 times 4 first and find that related calculation. So 8 times 4, I know that gives me 32. But because it's not 8 times 4, it's 8 times 40. The 4's been multiplied by 10, so my answer needs to be multiplied by 10 too to make 320. And then 8 times 2. There we go. I could use my 2 times tables or my 8 times tables for that one, and that will give me an answer of 16. Okay, so here we go. Let's add them all up. So we've got 300 plus 20, so 2 tens there. And there's no ones in 320, so I'm just going to pop a 0. And then I'm going to add on the 16, so there's 6 ones there. And 110. So you know what I'm going to say. You know it's before I've even said it. To draw my answer bar, I will definitely need the tool of kings and queens. Let's be fair. We need to have our Rodney ruler. Okay, so 0 plus 6 in our ones column, that's going to give me 6. 20 plus 10 is going to give me 30. And then there's no more hundreds and I don't need to do an exchange. So here I've got 300. Okay, so now I almost unpartition and my answer I will get is 336. Ooh, super. Okay, your silver task for today is to work on some bar models and use your grid method to help you find out what number should go in the top bar of these bar models. So pause the video here and give it a go. How did you get on? Have a little look through your answers, tick through. And again, if you've made a mistake, please don't worry about it. Just have a little look through each section and think, well, where did I go wrong here? What didn't work? Okay, if you're ready for the gold, let's go. Now, this one is a little bit of problem solving. What do these bar models have in common? Now, you may be thinking, well, Mrs. Silverthorne, they're obviously different calculations because they've got different numbers in and different amounts of those numbers, but have a go at maybe solving these bar models and thinking about what they have in common. So what's the same about them? Pause the video here and give it a go. Okay, how did you get on with that one? Did you find that they all have an answer of 144? Even though their calculations were different. So for this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 18 to give us an answer of 144. 8 times 18. Down here we had 4 times 36. Oh, that's a really bizarre 4 there. I do apologise. 36. And then up here we had 3 times 48. And these calculations all gave an answer of 144. Brilliant. Okay, if you are ready to move on to platinum and give yourself a challenge, let's go. Okay, so this one, oh, I've left this on. That needs to go because you don't need to worry about that bit. So this is an always, sometimes, never question. So for this one, what we are actually thinking about is whether this statement, so this sentence, is true always. So that means it applies to every single calculation we work on, or sometimes, so sometimes this rule works, but other times it doesn't, or never, this rule is wrong, it never works. So let's have a think about it. So a 2-digit number multiplied by a 1-digit number, that's what we've been doing all this week, always has a 2-digit product. So when I say product, basically that's another fancy word for answer. Okay, so when I'm thinking about the word product here, you might want to be thinking, well, what does product mean? It means answer. Okay, I'll write that there to help you. Your job is to prove it. So to prove your answer, if you think it's always, prove it. If you think it's sometimes, prove it. If you think it's never true, prove it. So pause the video here and give it a go. Okay, the answer to this one is sometimes. So it is sometimes true and sometimes not true. So a 2-digit number multiplied by a 1-digit number does sometimes give you a 2-digit answer. So I've given you an example down here. 21 times 4 will give you an answer of 84. You might have used a grid method to help you solve this and to help you think about whether you think your answer is true sometimes or never or always. My answer here is a 2-digit answer. But if I tried 87 times 7, my answer is 609. And that's a 3-digit product. So have a little look here. Did you get the answer right? That's going to be the end of our maths there, guys. So you have done very well today. We've done an awful lot of grid method this week, and I hope you're enjoying it. So keep going. We've got one more day of it, so we'll do some more tomorrow on Friday, and then next week we'll be moving on to something slightly different. So well done, and have a really lovely Thursday evening.